Ricky Gervais has made it very clear that he is no fan of Ellen DeGeneres, and this time, he is speaking louder than ever. His latest comments have people talking everywhere because many believe they match rumors that have been spreading for years.
Ellen DeGeneres' show is facing new allegations this morning of rampant sexual misconduct and harassment in the workplace.
On top of that, one family even claimed that Ellen tried to take their children, a story that sparked huge debates and left many people asking serious questions. So what exactly did Ricky say that caused such a massive reaction? And why is everyone paying attention now? How did Ellen respond when all of this started making headlines? Did she ignore it, or did she have something to say behind the scenes? And could Ricky Gervais end up facing pressure because he keeps speaking so openly about powerful people in Hollywood?
When I say everything, I mean people. I honestly, everything about people annoy me.
People annoy you.
Oh, they're the worst. They are the worst.
People are the worst.
They're absolutely the worst.
But what happens if
This world will be better without them.
There's a lot to unpack here, and we're going to break down every major claim, every reaction, and every surprising twist as we go. For years, Ellen DeGeneres was seen as the undisputed queen of daytime television. Her face was everywhere, and her public message always sounded the same: be kind. Millions of viewers believed that image without question, and some of Hollywood's biggest stars couldn't wait to sit down on her famous couch. It looked like she had built a reputation that nothing could shake, no matter what happened around her. Then everything suddenly took a sharp turn. One story after another began coming out from people who said they had worked behind the scenes. Former employees described what they believed was a difficult workplace, and their accounts quickly grabbed national attention.
Also, we will have a hotline number later for you if you have been sexually assaulted at the Ellen DeGeneres program, which everyone that has ever worked there has apparently been goosed in the dressing room at the Ellen DeGeneres. What is going on at Ellen? She's out there dancing, and in the back, it's a free-for-all.
There were allegations involving intimidation, unfair treatment, discrimination, misconduct, and an unhealthy work environment. As more people came forward with their own experiences, the public conversation grew even bigger, and many started wondering whether Ellen's friendly public image matched what was really happening away from the cameras. The friendly image that helped make Ellen DeGeneres one of the biggest names on television started to crack much faster than anyone expected. For years, many people saw her as one of the nicest personalities in entertainment, but that picture became the center of growing public debate. Now, comedian Ricky Gervais is adding even more attention to the conversation. According to Ricky, Ellen had far more influence in Hollywood than many people realized. He suggested she had stronger connections, greater reach, and more industry power than most viewers ever noticed.
Apparently. It's the Marquis de Sade is running around the dressing room at Ellen, terrifying the employees. I thought she was just a bitch. That's what I thought. I know people that know her, but apparently it's not that. There's sex deviants running around.
He also hinted that there could be another side to the story that the public rarely got to see. When Ricky first made those remarks, plenty of people brushed them off as nothing more than comedy. At the time, many assumed he was simply making another sharp joke during a performance. But as newer claims and online discussions about Ellen gained momentum, people started looking back at those old comments with fresh eyes. Suddenly, clips of Ricky's remarks began spreading again, and viewers started asking whether there was more behind the jokes than they originally believed. So just how influential was Ellen DeGeneres during the peak of her career? We looked through public allegations, interviews, news reports, and widely discussed accounts to piece together how the story unfolded.
And they're making people feel uncomfortable. They're sick. Get up how many people have been sexually assaulted, Ellen. I won't stand for it. I won't stand for this anymore. Do I like the show more now? That's the question. Do I like it more now that I know that Ellen DeGeneres has been running a room in the back of her fun, positive show?
The more details people examined, the more questions seemed to appear, and the conversation only grew larger. Ricky also spoke about Ellen's famous public image. He pointed out that her entire brand centered around being kind, but he questioned whether that image always felt natural. In his opinion, the kindness sometimes appeared more like part of a carefully managed public persona than a genuine reflection of everyday behavior. Public figures like Joe Rogan and Tom Dillon have also shared opinions that echo similar concerns, adding even more attention to the discussion. For years, Ellen's signature message was simple: be kind.
A lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a bitch, right? You're allowed to be a bitch. You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing.
She repeated it often and encouraged viewers to treat others with respect and compassion. However, according to public allegations from some former staff members and others who claim to have interacted with her, the experience behind the scenes did not always match the image seen on television. Those claims received widespread media attention, while Ellen and her team publicly addressed several of the concerns as the controversy continued to unfold. Many people, including Ricky Gervais, have shared the opinion that those who personally knew Ellen DeGeneres understood she could allegedly be a difficult person to work with or be around. Those comments have continued to spark debate, especially as more public stories and interviews have resurfaced over the years. While not everyone agrees with those claims, they have become a major part of the conversation surrounding her public image. To understand how Ellen reached such a powerful position in the entertainment world, though, it helps to go all the way back to the beginning.
What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they
Dogs
have like
around them.
Yeah, she's got dogs and hoods. If an intern's late, they have a hood on. I don't support that. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Long before she became one of television's biggest stars, her life looked very different and her path to success was anything but predictable. Ellen's journey wasn't an easy one. At just 23 years old, she still wasn't sure what direction her future would take. She worked a variety of jobs to make ends meet, including painting houses, working in factories, tending bar, and even selling vacuum cleaners. At that point, stand-up comedy wasn't part of her long-term plan at all. It was only after friends encouraged her to perform at a charity event that she stepped onto a stage. Almost by chance, she realized she had a natural ability to make people laugh, and that unexpected moment changed everything. Interestingly, Ellen has said that she wasn't completely driven by a passion for comedy itself. Even so, audiences connected with her relaxed delivery, everyday humor, and calm personality. Throughout the 1980s, she traveled across the country performing stand-up shows, slowly building her reputation one performance at a time. Then, in 1982, she won Showtime's Funniest Person in America competition, an achievement that helped put her on Hollywood's radar and opened the door to much bigger opportunities. Not long afterward, Ellen started appearing on major late-night television programs, an important milestone for any comedian hoping to establish a career in the entertainment industry. Those appearances introduced her to larger audiences and helped her gain momentum as her popularity continued to grow. Everything reached another level in 1994 when ABC gave her her own sitcom, Ellen. Playing the role of a quirky bookstore owner, she quickly became a familiar face in households across the country, and the series found a loyal audience. Then, in 1997, television history was made during what became widely known as the Puppy episode, when her character publicly came out as gay.
For Ellen as well.
Yeah, I did the first 2 years on that show.
And she was
She was rough. She was the C word. Yeah.
Was she just short with you? I mean, what was exactly
It was like
happening?
if you didn't pitch in her wheelhouse, then she looked at you like you had just stabbed her puppy. And then there was this process of...
The episode became a landmark moment in television history and generated enormous public attention. After Ellen also came out publicly in her personal life, her career experienced a significant slowdown for a period as the entertainment industry and audiences reacted to the historic moment. After that period, Ellen accepted several smaller acting roles in films, but they did not have the same level of success as her earlier projects. Around the same time, her then partner, actress Anne Heche, also experienced career challenges during those years. Looking back in later interviews, Heche spoke about the difficulties they faced together and how that chapter of her life affected her personally. Heche said she tried to create a much simpler lifestyle by stepping away from Hollywood. She described moving to Ohio, spending time gardening, writing, directing, and focusing on a quieter future. According to her public comments, she hoped that slower pace would bring more peace. She also suggested that
pushing people out of the circle. And you want to be in the circle because there's a lot of fear going on.
Yeah.
And you're in or out. So there's a lot of it didn't really bother me that much because I'd written on a lot of shows before and I kind of knew what it was like to have tough bosses.
Yeah.
I wrote for Bill Maher.
Sure.
And so I was just tough enough, but then there was these first-time writers they used to cry. There was a lot of crying in the hallways.
Wow.
From her perspective, Ellen was never fully satisfied with that kind of lifestyle, though those remarks reflected Hetche's personal viewpoint rather than established fact. Ricky Gervais has also shared his own opinions about Ellen's position within the entertainment industry. He has suggested that her influence reached far beyond daytime television and that she had strong relationships with many well-known figures in Hollywood. In Ricky's view, those connections helped strengthen her public image and made her one of the industry's most recognizable personalities. These are Ricky's opinions and have been widely discussed, but they remain his perspective rather than verified conclusions.
One Ellen controversy that isn't really a huge controversy, but has always irritated me, and I think it's the perfect way for us to close out this deep dive. During the pandemic, when there was a lot of uncertainty when it came to especially talk show television that usually had live audiences, Ellen made the decision to not stand by her staff, her writers, her employees, and she decided to kind of leave them high and dry without any kind of job.
Ricky has also made comments that some people have linked to broader discussions involving Jeffrey Epstein's well-known social circle. However, being mentioned in connection with social circles or public events does not by itself demonstrate wrongdoing, and there is no public evidence establishing that Ellen engaged in criminal conduct related to Epstein.
Any plan, any severance, health insurance, nothing. And she hired a non-union company to film and produce the Ellen DeGeneres show from her home so she could continue to do the show while quarantined. The pandemic was already a scary enough time with so many people having housing insecurity, job insecurity, food insecurity.
Discussions on this topic have largely been driven by speculation, opinions, and online debate rather than verified findings. Supporters of Ricky argue that some of the concerns people dismissed as rumors deserve another look, while others strongly disagree with his conclusions. Ricky has expressed the opinion that influential public figures can sometimes rely on their reputation and industry relationships when facing criticism. That remains his interpretation of events, and it continues to be debated by audiences and commentators alike. Anne Hetche also made public comments over the years about her relationship with Ellen, including opinions about ambition, success, and priorities. Those remarks reflected Hetche's personal experiences and should be understood as her own perspective rather than proven fact about Ellen's character. So why did relatively few people publicly criticize Ellen during the height of her career?
And to just drop your entire team of people who have kept your show running for so long is unprofessional and unethical at best, especially when you are a multimillionaire who could do a little something to ensure that your staff members will be okay until their next paycheck. Ellen's staff scrambled to find themselves work and new jobs.
Ricky's answer has consistently been influence. He has argued that successful entertainers can have a major impact on careers, reputations, and public perception, making others hesitant to speak openly. That claim reflects Ricky's opinion and remains part of the larger public discussion surrounding Ellen's legacy and career.
While Ellen sat comfortably in her home with her new production company, doing The Ellen Show. While Ellen was in quarantine and doing The Ellen Show from her home, just keep in mind, we were all in quarantine during that time. We all remember what it was like, except for our first-line workers. We love you. We appreciate you. But Ellen describes having to socially distance and stay home as
more stories entered the public conversation, the pressure surrounding Ellen's image continued to grow. Reports from former employees received widespread media attention, and interviews discussing workplace culture became major headlines. The contrast between her well-known "be kind" message and the public allegations led many viewers to question whether her television persona reflected what happened behind the scenes. At the same time, others argued that no single public controversy could fully define a person's entire career, making the debate even more intense. The discussion reached another level when Ellen addressed the situation herself.
similar to going to jail. Keep it in mind that at this time, Ellen was quarantined in her $15 million mansion with her wife, and that's just one of her mansions. Ellen has bought and sold over 50 properties in Los Angeles, and at one given time will own tens of millions of dollars in real estate. So really, if she wanted to, she could just go to a different one of her houses if she was feeling, so trapped and in jail.
During the opening of a new season of her show, she acknowledged the criticism and said changes were being made behind the scenes. Leadership within the show's production team also changed as the program moved forward. While some viewers appreciated the response and believed it showed accountability, others felt it did not completely answer the concerns that had been raised. Public opinion quickly became divided, and conversations about the controversy continued across television, podcasts, and social media. Ricky Gervais didn't back away from sharing his views either. Known for his sharp comedy and willingness to challenge powerful celebrities, he continued making jokes and observations that many people interpreted as criticism of Hollywood's biggest names. His comments about Ellen became part of a much larger conversation about fame, influence, and whether well-known public figures are held to the same standards as everyone else. Some people applauded his willingness to speak openly, while others argued that his remarks were simply part of his comedy style. As more interviews, clips, and old moments resurfaced online, people began revisiting Ellen's career from a different perspective. Moments that once seemed harmless were suddenly being discussed again, with viewers debating what they meant and whether they should be viewed differently in light of later events. Not everyone reached the same conclusion, but one thing became clear. Ellen's public image was no longer as untouchable as it had once appeared, and the discussion surrounding her legacy was far from over. According to Ricky Gervais, one reason Ellen DeGeneres remained such a powerful figure for so many years was the influence that successful celebrities can have within the entertainment industry.
If she was feeling, like the walls were caving in her $15 million mansion. This did not hit for a lot of people, as a lot of people couldn't even pay their rent during the pandemic, okay? People were losing their jobs left and right. And it's just a very privileged take, especially with the fact that jails and prisons had some of the highest numbers of lives lost due to the virus because of the close quarters they were living in. With all that being said,
he has argued that well-known public figures often receive strong support from the system around them, and that critics can face pushback when they speak out. Those comments reflect Ricky's personal opinion and have been widely debated by fans, critics, and commentators alike. Ricky also believes that public scrutiny has increased in recent years, with more people taking a closer look at the workplace allegations and media reports that surrounded Ellen's show. As those stories received widespread attention, many viewers began re-examining her public image and asking whether it matched the experiences described by some former employees. Others, however, have pointed out that allegations should be evaluated carefully and based on reliable evidence rather than online speculation. Questions have also circulated online about Ellen's connections to other well-known public figures. However, there is no verified evidence showing that Ellen was involved in criminal wrongdoing related to Jeffrey Epstein, and claims suggesting otherwise remain unproven. Likewise, sensational allegations that have appeared on social media and other platforms have not been established as fact and should be treated with caution.
Absolutely do not think that she is the kind, generous, loving person who she portrays on the TV screen. I just don't think that she's that person. Do I think it's very telling of her character and her ethics and her integrity that she looks at figures such as Woody Allen as inspiration? Absolutely. That is nasty and disgusting. Ultimately, Ellen believed she had the privilege and the authority to treat people however she wanted, to treat people like garbage with absolutely no kinds of consequences.
Ricky's overall message has stayed consistent. He believes that public figures should be open to scrutiny and that, over time, facts have a way of coming to light. Whether people agree with him or not, his comments have fueled an ongoing conversation about celebrity culture, influence, accountability, and the difference between public image and public perception. What do you think about the controversy and the different opinions surrounding Ellen's legacy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends so you don't miss our next deep dive into the biggest stories making headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.